So it is going to be Friday, 4:30 at 1 p.m. And we are kind of kicking off the weekend here as we get in. We survived another week, so I'm happy for that. But all right, so let's get over to the main page here. So what I wanted to show you just before we get into, we're currently sitting up at around 370. I've got persistence on, so this is going to skew our number by a little bit, but kind of looking like an average Friday number. But anyway, nonetheless, don't forget, monkeys, you guys in the chat, hang tight when we're done here, and I'll kick it in the chat room with you guys. I do want to put out a quick shout out to Duncan over at Payne's Angel, and to Bear Arms. They both gave me shirts, and I put one on and I got in front of the screen and realized I wasn't really thinking. They are olive green, and my background behind me is actually a green screen, and so I had no torso. I had some arms and a great big mag head dump, and so I was like, that is funky, and so I had to change out real fast. So anyway, thanks guys for sending the shirts, and sorry I can't wear them on the air because obviously I've got technical issues with the green screen behind me. So but that said, it would have been pretty humorous to say the least. But let's get on over here. I was looking at what's up on the board right now. I will tell you, we just had Flashbang land in Philly. So it looks like he has already departed for the day. And I'm going to kind of look at the helo activity. We're going to look at his schedule. But based on that, again, NA, so he's on 828,000. And I held persistence. But he bugged out a little earlier here. And then so let's bounce over to his schedule real fast, and then we will. That's not a schedule. That would be a schedule. Then we'll get kind of into the mix on things. And so for today, it looks like he kicked off around 10 a.m. and around 10:30 they had some Arbor Day tree ceremony. 11 a.m. he took the ride over to, looks like Joint Base Andrews, and then they departed for Philly around 12:25, which that kind of meets the timestamp we saw on this departure here, right? So got a 12:08, so that's a roll, that's a taxi. And actually looks like he left early according to that timestamp. So all right, so that said, as we're watching his schedule, one of the things I want to point out, yesterday he was down in Atlanta. We're going to look at the TFRs real fast, but I want to show you, this was recorded, and evidently I'm guessing that they are taking off on the ellipse, because this doesn't look like, now I'm going to show you the video here, but you're going to notice a lot of cars in the background, really bad grass, like not really well maintained. Doesn't represent it, but you will notice he does not snap a salute to the Marines standing at the door. You've got to love a guy that respects our country. And that's him boarding. Now that was from yesterday, and so I'm not really sure. If I go look at the flights, and we're going to look at the helos here right now because we're talking about that. These are the flights that related. Now this one is in 911 AS. It did fly this morning around 10:18, 10:30 time frame, but that's it. So that was prior to his departure. And I will tell you, this one is actually going to be Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police. Okay, so that's not going to be the regular that we would see, but looks like they did a little bit of a round robin there. Now this is our N22P. It landed 16 hours ago. So for some reason today, go figure, there is nothing. That's 16 hours ago. So this actually took place Thursday on that flight. You can see they were all over the place, and they didn't fly today. So, and the other one didn't fly either. So there's an N11 PP as well, and that one hasn't flown. And I'm going to show you that. It actually took a flight up to Delaware, and that's where it actually resides. So it's actually sitting up in Delaware right here. So you guys can see this. It left DC, and we can just see, you know, where it took off from the police station, and then it went up here to Delaware, and there it sits, right? So it looks like in Delaware, it just rolled in and landed. Now that is another, it's identical aircraft. Same thing as the last one. As you can see it here. in 11 pp. Okay. Now the interesting thing is that it's still in Delaware, and that was since March 10th. So if you've already got a bird on site, why would you need to fly this bird 22 pp up there, right? You've already got boots on the ground, you got a helo in place, and you've got the other Delaware State Police actually doing round robins too. So again, this stuff doesn't make sense. Now I know that Penguin 6 has got, he eyes on, and he showed us the stuff, but I'm just, and I get this from a security perspective. I mean, this right here, this kind of thing, well, that's not it. But let me just show you from a security perspective, as we watch them do these round robins, around the buildings, around the White House lawn, like this right here. They're doing laps around that. I would expect that, okay? That right there makes total sense to me for them to go, this is a Capitol, and this is the White House. And so they were doing their security deal. That I expect. Where I start to kind of question things and ask, why, is when this thing departs and goes up to Delaware, because that's park police. It just doesn't fit within the umbrella. But I don't know. It's obviously something I don't know. But we do have a lot of folks, man. I got to tell you, I am so impressed with the research, and people are actually, I used to get a lot of stuff where it was just hip shot, people throwing things at me, but people are actually doing the research and sending me stuff that is really pretty grounded. Like that video that I got, somebody sent me that yesterday where he's getting on Air Force One. Now their comment was the fact that he didn't salute the Marine, which, shocker, right? But when we're looking at that, we've got people that are in DC, we've got people that are up in Delaware, and we've got eyes on. And so now people are really focused on kind of, let's shore this thing up. Let's shine light on the truth. And if there's something that doesn't add up, we'll just keep pulling the thread on it. But again, this looks like they did this for Trump. They flew around, did a lot of security around the White House. That makes sense. It's the portions where we're seeing that aircraft depart and go to Delaware that is really kind of doesn't add up to me. Okay. So that said, let's get over here. I want to look at the TFRs for today, and this kind of matches up with what we were already looking at. Okay. Now we do know we've got some SpaceX stuff. This is a Falcon 9 related, and it looks like we've got space operations right here in the Panhandle area of Florida. And this one just popped on. It wasn't on my screen a minute ago, but that's popped on. That's over in Cape Canaveral, Central Florida right there. Okay. And so that's space operations. These are both air shows. And so we'll kind of drill down just so I can show you. This would be Trump location. Okay. These are air shows that are down in this general area. Again, 'tis the season for air shows. All right. And now this is him up in Philly. This is Flashbang. And then this is him in Delaware. So it looks like he's going to come down from this location down to Delaware. Now that is a very quick hop. That is very close. Okay. Matter of fact, when I'm looking at the airport that he usually lands on up here in the Wilmington area, I can actually see traffic going in and out of Philly. That it's that close. So, but this is going to be your brown zone. That is a permanent TFR, Senior Living Center here. And then this is going to be his location. Again, the size and magnitude of that TFR for a sitting president is not usual. That's kind of strange, to be honest with you. It's so big. And of course, they've got the one for today with his arrival in Philly. And so these other ones are, let me just kind of zoom in. We looked at these yesterday, I want to believe, but now that one is going to be VIP. So no, we didn't look at that. I don't remember that one from yesterday. So that's going to be probably Bob Marley heading into the Cincy area. And then this is probably also Bob Marley, if I had to guess. The fact that's a red box would probably mean either she may already be there, but there's our yellow. So that looks like the location they'll be traveling to. Okay. And so that's going to be, so that's Bob Marley. And then we've got this one down here, and I don't know what that is. I'm going to just kind of look. We looked at that yesterday, and it was security, but I'm not totally sure why, what the deal was behind that. So could be a trial, could be, God knows anything, but we did look at that yesterday. And so that's a security TFR over the Louisville, Jefferson County area. So, all right, let's back this up a little. Everything else looks to be our normal TFRs. We've got some air shows out here. That's an air show. This is an air show. That is a standard everyday TFR that's in that location. Air show down by Corpus Christi, and then our normal border TFRs that are going on. Same thing with this right here. And then we got some fire TFRs. Okay. Everything else, I think, we're kind of normal. That's a space TFR, and so is this one right here in Montana, or sorry, Wyoming. All right, let me back up, and let's move on to the next. So now this is going to give you kind of a flavor of all the Eurocopters that are up right now. You'll see there's quite a bit of activity in this general area, and that has been for days now. I don't know what they're doing there. LA, this is always heavy, everything from highway patrol to border patrol down here, fires. There's a lot of stuff going on in this general area. Right here, this is kind of tied to the border, and then so is this one. This is right there by El Paso, and so I don't know who that one is. We'll kind of click on it just to see. And who is that owned by? It wants to give me Roberts Aircraft Company. No idea. It looks like a fire helicopter if I had to guess. No, it's a medevac. All right, there we have it. So it looks like there's a medevac happening there near El Paso. All right. So let's go over here. We're going to start out with XPL Honduras on our prison watch location. And then we'll wrap up today talking a little bit about Maxwell and what we found so far. Okay. But I'll tell you this, nothing's really changed. Still got the Reach transportation came in on Wednesday. And so we don't have anything new as of today on the board for Friday. Okay. Now, where did my Guantanamo Bay go? Because it's somewhere up here mixed in my deal, but doesn't want to show. All right. Well, that's okay. We're going to go pull Guantanamo Bay right here. I say we're going to pull Guantanamo Bay. Let's try that one more time. All right, so this is going to be Guantanamo Bay for today. Now, I don't see anything new. It looks like we've got some arrivals. These are normal Friday stuff on the arrival board. Same thing here. Charleston, that's used to come from Norfolk. It looks like it's coming out of Charleston now. And then this is contractor movement, okay? Everything else looks to be blank. So it's kind of quiet on Guantanamo today. I will tell you, I was eyes on this because I was looking for something to pop in there relative to Maxwell. And then as I started pulling the thread on her stand-up in a court appearance, it actually took place on the 23rd. It's like, I don't know why. Somebody told me it was this Friday, and I just read something and thought it was this Friday, but it's actually not. It was actually the 23rd. So she did not appear in court today, but we're going to talk about that in a little further detail here towards the end, okay? All right. And so over here on the Caleta charters, we've got our normal. It looks like it's headed just about to land in the Dominican Republic, coming out of Miami. And that's just a regular run. And so actually, I take that back. It looks like it's taken off. I don't have an end destination here. Let me just see real fast if I can get... We kind of click on that, see where it's going. All right, so it's taken off out of Dominican Republic. It looks to be going into Haiti, is what it appears to be doing. So it's because it was so short on that. That's a pretty fast hop. So, all right, so there's that one. And I want to look here. Something else I'm going to point out. We were talking yesterday that these flights from Kentucky, and we were talking about, it's probably tied to the Kentucky Derby, but I'm getting ready to show you something. It's going to blow your mind because these Atlas Airs, I told you they are huge aircraft and they can fly a ton of stuff. And so I'm going to show you now. All I have are the one leg, but I'm just going to show you the rhythm and the tempo that's going on right before our eyes. And it looks like our DOD is actually pretty heavily engaged in this operation. All right. Now, these are all your live Atlas flights right now. You can see a lot of stuff going over the U.S. That is unusual. We typically don't see that much activity here. We see it kind of going over here and down here into South America. So it looks like we kind of caught them all mid-stroke. And but that's what we're watching for. besides the one I'm about to show you, are the flights going into the Middle East out in here in this general area. Okay, that's what we're really looking for, because that's going to be a pretty big indicator when something else is going on with our DoD. Okay, because these guys move a lot of stuff. But this is the one I want to show you, because notice this thing's rolling out of Kentucky, headed to El Paso on a regular basis. Check this out. This is where I'm like, how did I not see this every other day? Okay, but check it out. Daily, this thing, every single day, that's a 747-400, which is a massive aircraft that is taking off and landing every day, coming Cincinnati, El Paso, Cincinnati, El Paso. Now, there's probably a return leg, probably going El Paso to Cincinnati, but this thing is round robining all the way back. And the reason I'm not seeing that is because it's got a different flight number, okay? And so I'll try to dig in and find the one that's the return flight, but that's moving a lot of people, folks. When you start talking about that kind of volume, a 747, actually, sorry, that is a 767-200. That's still a very large aircraft, okay? For those that, if, just to show you what a 767-200 looks like, but you can see that'd be an old Delta Airlines picture, but these are big, very large aircraft. I mean, they will hold a lot of people, okay? I mean, that is massive. That's just like your 777s. A 747 is a little bigger. You can probably get about 90 more bodies on a 747 than this. But this one, if the seating configuration is right, you can get hundreds of people onto this aircraft. And so we need to pay attention to that, because I think what's happening is these people are getting pulled into Kentucky and then rerouted somewhere. So big one we need to watch. All right. Okay, over here to Caleta. And this flight, so this is 331CK. We watch this pretty regularly. Now this one, you're going to notice it was in Oakland. It is now back into Oscoda, Michigan. That is their hub. That's where he operates out of for the charters. Okay, and so that one right there is probably back in for maintenance, if I had to guess, or it's getting a configuration change, seating config change, something. But it's going to be out of sequence for a couple of days while they do that. I would imagine we'll see it pop back in, and that was yesterday. Okay, back up there to Oscoda. So, all right. This is going to be your N312FU. Now, this is the one. So when I was telling you that Maxwell actually went and appeared on the 23rd, this is what kind of got my attention, because this is what I call the Maxwell bird. If you'll notice, this plane on the day before she was due to appear went from DC down here to the Grand Caymans back up here to Lauderdale. Now, from there, it went down to South America on the 24th, which is the day after her appearance. So there's a gap, for the 23rd, but it originates out of Lauderdale. So if I was guessing, maybe plausible that this ride, she got another ride out of Lauderdale up north, okay, and I just can't find it. But and then that ride came back down to Lauderdale, and then they got on it and took her back out. I don't think she's at Gitmo right now. I think that she's already been through the rotation. I think they're moving her, to be honest with you. But that, we'll get into a little bit more of that. I will tell you some of the findings that people are coming up with, and we've looked through court dockets and things like that to come up with this. Pretty surprising. So, all right. So there's that. That's N312FU. Now, that landed 5 days ago, and it's been sitting in Lauderdale. That's home operation. So it's probably doing a light maintenance check or something. And so these are going to be your Phoenix flights. This one, let me just take a quick look and see where that's coming out of. Amarillo, Texas to Ventura. So that's kind of a new one. Now, that's a Learjet 35. And we're going to just click on that, because that's a new. I need to add that tail number to my quiver, because that's new. So we've got a flight coming out of Amarillo headed into this area. Now, that is one of the little operations that they're using. So there's no telling who's coming through on that one. But I'll make sure to add this to my quiver, because that's a new jet. Again, these people, they got a massive fleet, because I just don't. It's just endless. Every time I turn my head, there's another Phoenix Graybird popping in. Okay. So let's get over here. 163 PA. This one hasn't moved since the 23rd, which is going to be, that was her appearance day, but I don't see any connectivity here other than I do see this Lauderdale flight, but that was days before. So on that date, this was strictly just looked like a quick hop within the state of Georgia. Okay. And then 549 PA, again, we're watching this one because it showed up at the spa. I went back and looked around those dates, and I do have some stuff around Andrews coming down to Cartersville and then back. And then this obviously went up to Fort Drum, New York, but I don't think this is related at all. So, okay. Over to our sniffer. That thing hasn't flown 2 days. It was at West Point, and looks like it just flew over there, did a little bit of sniffing, and went back. Now, this is going to be our kind of our segue, but this is your Department of No Justice. This is N721AL, or also known as Jenna 126. And they flew out of Minneapolis, Minnesota yesterday, and they went to Great Falls, Montana, where they are still. Okay, and so don't know what they're doing in Montana, but it is Friday. I would expect to see a return flight, but it looks like they were sitting in Great Falls. So eyes on if you're in Montana. I don't know what we have going on out there, but your DOJ is there. And so, all right. Now, let's talk a little bit about Maxwell, okay? This is kind of perplexing, all right? I showed you guys that her flight when she was apprehended, how we had flights that lined up from New Hampshire to Jersey down to Lauderdale, like I just mentioned, over to Guantanamo Bay. Same flight, okay? And that was at 312 FU, okay? And then from that date, I haven't really seen anything that would indicate she's not there. They keep saying she's at this one location, and I want to show you. We're going to look at that. But this was her supposed first court appearance. I don't think that's her. I think that's her attorney. I think this is her over here because it's got that short hair. But I saw that somebody did give her a black eye, which I thought was kind of interesting. But nonetheless, this happened on the 23rd. And so I went back and I looked and I pulled the actual court docket information. And I'll show you guys. Let me blow this up a little bit. But one thing I will say, as I've been watching this, because I have a Pacer account and I've been going in and looking at just kind of all the court dockets, is that she seems to communicate a lot with the judge via letter, okay? She's writing constantly to the judge. The judge is just poo-pooing all over everything she sends. But on the 23rd, this right here says that proceedings were held before this judge and the arraignment as to Miss Maxwell against these counts. And it says that she was present with her attorneys, lots of them actually, and that she basically filed a not guilty, okay? And then again at the top, another minute entry, and the minutes are basically a count of the meeting, okay? That's what that means. And so again, another count here, and she entered for these pleas for these counts here, not guilty. And then that was it. The next thing we see on the 26th is another letter. Now I will tell you what I thought was interesting was that, note the dates. Letters are submitted here on the 23rd, is when they were entered, okay? Supposedly all in front of the judge. But then the court reporter actually, her entry doesn't come in until the 27th, which is the following week, which I thought was interesting. And then this one up here actually comes in on the 26th, which is another letter, all right? So now here's where this thing kind of gets a little wonky, all right? Now, if I go look at her number, again, we talked about this yesterday, 509 supposedly is Brooklyn MDC, okay? But I will tell you that is not the code for Brooklyn, okay? Now, if I go over here and I look at these other inmate locators, notice that Keith Rainier is no longer, he's supposedly out here at Tucson, but that number doesn't, if I remember correctly, that number did not match. At actual number 177 was actually supposed to be, and it still showed the same thing, Brooklyn same location as her, but their numbers didn't match. Now they've got him located at Tucson, and I have not checked if that is actually alignment for Tucson. We'll see. Okay. But he just got prosecuted for his stuff. All right. But now if I go over here and I look at Epstein, 54, now he was at the same location as Miss Maxwell. Different times, because he was already dead before she was captured and put there. And then Weiner, he was also same location as Epstein and Maxwell. Okay. But her number, this 509, is the one that's thrown us off. Now, that said, we started looking, and I actually had people send me some documents, and we started reading some other court cases with reference to somebody else that was at that -509 location. And it turned out that that person, when you actually looked at where they were located, it was at Rikers Island, which is not Brooklyn. That's different. And so, but that was another person. But they also had that 509 attached to their name. So could she be at Rikers? Maybe. But then somebody else sent me something that said that 509 was actually on the West Coast, out in like Seattle or something. And so, again, this is the puzzle. Doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm sure because, like I said, the diligence that people that follow me have in providing different data points, we'll eventually figure something out. But that right there does not align. That's not 54. That's not Brooklyn, MDC. That's a different location. And it makes sense that they would try to protect her. And so that, to throw that in there and not, again, if you notice the article where she supposedly appeared before them, not a lot of people there, right? Nobody in there but her and her attorneys, supposedly. Okay. And so, they're keeping this pretty tight, to the chest. Now, I will tell you, as I went through the Pacer thing, there are a lot of documents within that they pull them out, and then they put them back that are sealed documents. Like they're not letting this leak out. And I don't know why. I don't know whose name is on there that they're trying to protect. But there's a lot of sealed documents that go with this thing. So, all right. So we're kind of off in the woods. I know it all started with just tracking an airplane. And so now we're off into court cases and everything else. So let me get us back on track for the aircraft stuff, because that's really what we're here for. And so as I look at the light, come on, reload. All right, let's see. Now this thing may go completely. All right, let me pull this. Yeah, that's what I thought. I knew it was going to since I hit that. Let me skinny it down. Let me back it up. All right, so a minute ago, I had a couple aircraft. Here's one of them still there. These are the teal C-130s. These are going to be the weather ones that go out and actually hurricane hunters, I guess is what we call them. So there are two of those outbound out to this general location, and I have since lost them. But they look to be out here looking at some weather disturbance. All right, and then out here in the Southern California area, I've got a lot of heavies, So I've got 4, or I had 4. Now it looks like I'm down. I've got an E6 that's running that came from Central U.S. So we've got one of the electronic suites out here. That's 2 C-17s. You can see there's shadowing each other coming in tight. Another one here, and this one down here just landed. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 C-17s that all look to be headed into the Riverside general area. I don't know what base this is right here, but that is where they appear to be. And again, every time I zoom in, I want to think for a second that I'm going to actually increase the size of the letters, and they keep shrinking. So anyway, so it looks like we got a handful of C-17s moving into this general area out west of Los Angeles. So just kind of keep an eye on that. I don't know why that would be going on. Like I said, we're getting a lot of heavy movement across the U.S. We get these that are coming out of Travis going into Idaho, and that has been going on for a couple days now. So I don't know what they have going on. This one just took off, it looks like, and is on a climb out. What do we have here? That is one of your whitetail Navy birds. Sorry, Marine Corps birds. And down here, a little H-60. That's going to be, sorry, it's not AC-45 Eurocopter. And that looks to be doing some Border Patrol stuff. So that right there is going to be your night watch, which looks like he just landed. And let me just see here real fast. I don't think anything else. There's we got a lot of weather moving through, a lot of trainers here, a lot of trainers still in here. Jacksonville has got a whole bunch of, these are all, that's a P3, P8. I had at one point 4 P8s that were up, and a couple of P3s, but right now it looks like they're all landing, and it looks like they came down from Warner Robins, so I didn't see anything that were, they weren't out here looking at stuff. That's going to be a fighter. Another C-17, looks like that's coming out of down past Sarasota. So a lot of heavy movement going on. That's one thing that is very obvious. So I don't know what they're up to, but all right. So let me get over here. I'm going to look at Europe real fast, and then we'll wrap things up. Let me see. Again, C-17 looks like that's coming out, which, by the way, they did go back and put the filter on. So you guys know, if you go in here and hit that light all, it'll give you the English names. So I don't know. I guess there were more people complaining than they wanted to listen to, and so they flipped that switch back on. Thank you, because I got to tell you, this was all in Arabic, and I couldn't read any of it. So, all right, what do we have out here? That's a tanker. So that one's coming out of Qatar. So it looks like we got some fighters up in the general area. We got a C-17. Now I do know there's a B-52 up in this general area right now as well. Not actually flying at the moment, but I know there's one out there, and so he's been in that general area. My understanding was that it was kind of a trying to give a little command presence with some B-52s out there. So, okay, another tanker. Again, that's what we usually see right here. Every time I come into this area, there's always some tankers there. And then it's like a C-17 that just landed. Another heavy, that's U.S. And C-17, that's going to be an A400, which looks to be a French one, also coming out of, looks like it's coming out of Lebanon. So, and man, Europe is pretty quiet for a Friday. Now it is getting close to the end of the day for them. So, probably what, 6, 7 p.m. over there now. Oh, actually almost 8 probably. So makes kind of sense. But got a little Eurofighter there. And let me see if that's Black Wolf. Who do we have here? No, Spar 80. 41,000 feet. Where did you come from, Spar 80? Let's see if we can zoom in and see where that little dude came out of. And St. Louis. So I don't know who would be on that. Looks like we got a dignitary headed out of St. Louis over to across the drink. And he's still at a pretty high altitude. Now he could land in the UK, but no telling where he's headed. But he's certainly about tapped on fuel, so I would imagine him to land. Probably land here shortly, so he'll start his descent. But that's kind of pushing the envelope when it comes to their range right there. Okay. All right. Everything else looks to be just kind of normal Friday stuff. Like I said, we got a couple little things out here. What's this? That's our little R-135. Looks like he's rolling out of Hano, headed westbound. So let's see, wonder where this one will go. So Tusk 14, we'll kind of keep our eye on him. He's going to be up for hours, so we won't watch him now. But it'll be interesting to see if he comes out here to Taiwan or somewhere along that range. Remember, that one right there is a what they call, that'd be like one of your surveillance planes. Okay. All right. Well, that, folks, is going to be it for today. We've got looks like Flashbang is up here on the move, and we've got boots on the ground, so we'll hopefully get some eyes on to see. We can't shore this stuff up relative to these Park Police helicopters and Marine One. So interesting. Like I said, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I think the more we watch, now that we have eyes on and it's kind of brought it to our attention, we may be able to see something and catch something. So, all right, that's it. So listen, monkeys in the chat room, I'm going to send us off. And if you guys want to hang tight, we can go through, answer some questions and stuff. And then everybody else, man, we'll be back with you next week. God bless, and monkey out. Check out the latest gear at monkeywerxus.com.